Speaking of heated rivalry, so Noah's Ark star Darryl Stevens, who played Noah on the show, had a couple of things to say about heated rivalry and the success of the show and all that other stuff. And Noah's Ark came out like 20 some odd years ago, so that was like a pioneer type of show. At the time we had Queer as Folk, which was a pioneer show, particularly with showing real queer relationships on TV, which we've never seen before, and unapologetic sex scenes. Then we had the L Word, which for the lesbians, and then we had Noah's Ark, which was for QPOX, which for those who don't know, queer people of color. So he said, folks are starved for male intimacy in a way that feels honest and genuine. And I think the show would have been a hit anyway. But how those two actors, Connor Story and Hudson Williams, navigated that promotional tour was so refreshing to see. It felt revolutionary. We said we didn't know who was identifying as gay or straight in the beginning. I think we have a better sense now. Do we? But the idea that the two actors were all over each other, hugging and kissing whenever they could, made us go, oh, there's a new way too. We were just talking about the manosphere. I think that many men are starved for representation that allows them to be emotionally vulnerable and physically affectionate with each other. And I don't necessarily think that he means that means gay. I just think in general terms, and I think that's probably where a lot of this brosphere type stuff comes from, and why there seems to be this lashing at women, because men want to be affectionate with their male friends and just show like they genuinely care about each other. It's not necessarily, yeah, we want to go and fuck each other, make out with each other. But I think there's that need where guys are just so tired of having to portray this stereotypical ideology of what it means to be masculine or to be masculine. It's like, yeah, I want to be able to show emotion, and I want to be able to dap my friends and smack them on the butt and just show kind of whatever, just to show that there's an intimacy there. And then I think that's why even guys even relate more with one, and they have like these deeper relationships with their male friends, but they treat women like they just a vessel to have a baby with. So now also on the show, Hudson is half Asian, but white presenting enough. And that was another thing too, because some people were saying that in this comment that I'm about to tell you, they were like, but wait, Hudson Williams is not white. He's a man of color. But what Darryl was getting at, he said that show would not have happened with two Asian or two black presenting men or two men of color. So saying that the success of Heated Rivalry would not have happened if it was a Noah and Wade at the head of the situation, or two Asian guys. Because how many stories have we heard, especially from people like Simu Liu, who have talked about that y'all don't, or Henry Golding, where they talk about that they would love to see Asian men as the lead. Why do we always have to be the villain? Why do we always have to be the bad guy in a lot of situations? So we want to be seen as a representation of where we can be seen in romantic leads, that we're not these monsters that white media or the entertainment industry, which is predominantly white, in regards of the gatekeeping of projects, how that gets made. So he's absolutely correct on this. And you have to look at it the other day. Yes, Hudson Williams may be Japanese in real life. Wait, he's half Korean, but I think on the show, his characters have Japanese. So Hudson, definitely when you look at him, he is white presenting. Because I looked at him and I thought I was a white boy until we saw the scene of him with his parents, and the father is Dylan Walsh. I don't know, from Nip Tuck, and then his mother is played by an Asian woman. And it wasn't until I saw those scenes with his parents that I'm like, oh, he's a mixed race. At first, I didn't look at him, but then I started looking at him. Yeah, I could definitely see the Asian in him. So there's that. And then it said that show, as you said, the show wouldn't have happened with two Asian and two black presenting men or two men of color. And he said, and only because I've been on the gay side of this industry for a long time, and I've seen beautiful black men come into gay stories and how black folks respond to those stories with skepticism and fear. When Noah's Ark came out in 2005, half the gay black men who watched the show felt like we were too feminine, and white people weren't watching the show at all. I think the success of Noah's Ark came from black straight women who were starved to see men being physically intimate and nice to each other. When do we get to see that? Which is exactly who are the ones that are mostly watching Heated Rivalry. It's not necessarily gay men, although there are, it seemed like a lot of the discourses that I've been seeing on social media, it definitely seems like a lot of gay men are watching Heat of Rivalry, but I definitely think that more women are watching it, and I think that happened with Queer as Folk too. So Noah's Ark, Queer as Folk, all of that stemmed from women supporting the show, not necessarily men, because they feel like, oh, it's too stereotypical. Oh, it's pretty much clocking our souls, meaning that it's spilling all of our tea for these people to see, so they didn't want to be a part of it. Especially when you saw what that Queer as Folk was exploiting. Is exploiting the right word to use? Um, Club culture, like circuit parties. And I used to go to circuit parties. So a lot of stuff they was doing up in there, yes, the girls was doing it. The GHB and doing the meth and doing the circuit party drugs. Trust and believe. I seen all that shit. The K, special K, all of that shit was going down in the clubs. Trust and believe when I tell you. So he's absolutely right in saying this, and this comes from the fact that Noah, Darryl is in his 50s. I think he's 52 years old. So if he's been around the world and has performed in a lot of queer centric independent films, as well as a show like Noah's Ark, I think he knows what he's talking about. So I'm going to take his word for what he's saying. But I definitely feel that while men are thinking that women don't want to see intimacy, there are plenty of women who want to see men being vulnerable and intimate. So I don't think that we should all just, at the end of the day, put all of this on specifically women. It's just the way society plays it up that men have to be a certain way in order to succeed in the big leagues. So they said, and so when he ended up by saying this, but the majority of this country is still white somehow. And I don't think that Heat of Rivalry could have hit as hard as it did in the US without two white presenting, mass presenting main characters. And that's another thing too. If you do the whole, and I've always said this for the longest, I was like, why is it that we don't have a lot of programs that show mask presenting male characters in same sex relationships? Because they exist, but it felt like because Young wanted it to be easily clockable for effeminate men to be at the center or the forefront of a lot of these products, because it's easy to identify a feminine man. The fact that you see men that upon first glance you think he got a girlfriend, when yeah, behind closed doors he tearing that ass up, and I'm talking about the same sex booty. And the girls be gagging over it, and some men, but it's like the fact that it's ambiguous when you can't really tell. That's where the real danger of it is, because you can't clock somebody's soul easily. So Darryl is correct in everything that he said. He actually said this in an interview with Tim Murphy's The Caftan Chronicles about the breakthrough success of Heat of Rivalry. And so if you want to check out that interview, it's out there somewhere on social media. But if you go on Tim Murphy's Instagram, and I'm sure if you went to Darryl Stevens' Instagram, he talks about it there as well. They probably have all the links and things. But yeah, he's absolutely right in this. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Heat of Rivalry and what's coming up with season 2, as well as what Darryl Stevens had to say about the matter in regards of Heat of Rivalry's success? So, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.